If you're struggling with rotation, bring the thumb back to you. I make shooting simple. Follow me. Loaded hands with the forearm pointed down creates more of a pull backwards. Loaded hands with the forearm parallel to the ground helps create more of a push up. I make shooting simple. Follow me. Don't start with this angle if you're eventually just going to find this angle. Start with this angle, rotate the shoulder, and maintain the angle. I make shooting simple. Follow me. Using this, I'm going to explain why this is 100% true. Most people watching that clip are going to say that the ball stops in MJ's shot. However, this is a case of the ball stopping relative to the body, not necessarily stopping relative to the ground. So to explain our concept, let's start with just a straight line. So let's say our ball starts here on the ground and it's trying to get here to my hand. The ball not stopping relative to the ground would just make a straight path to the target here. The ball stopping relative to the ground would mean the ball would move, stop, and then go again. And so if we're looking at any shooter, it's important that we just watch the ball and not the body. So in the case of Jordan, as this ball starts to move up, and it's going to take a little outwards trajectory here before coming back, that ball stays in constant motion all the way through the shot, even though it looks like it's stopping at his set point. Being able to achieve this comes through proper sequencing and timing of how to move the ball and when to attach the legs. If MJ were to have moved the ball to his set point, stopped it completely, and then shot that basketball, then we would be able to say that that ball actually stopped. So whether you're elevating like Jordan or you're shooting a foul shot like my man John, that ball is always going to stay in constant motion. I make shooting simple. Follow. La, la, la,
hey, this is a song for my haters. Yeah, you got me feeling like the greatest, yeah. Hey, this is a song for my haters. Hey, you got me feeling like the greatest.
My hand is on the ball, fingers are spread, but they're relaxed. And what I like to say is all fingers should be almost pointing in the same direction. So if I'm holding the ball right now, you see all my fingers are pointing down, even my thumb. My thumb's not out here pointing to a different direction. And the reason I want to make sure that happens is because I want to make sure it's easy for my hand to push through the ball, or all fingers are kind of pushing through the ball in the same direction. All right. So there I have my full foot, or my full hand. See, I have like a little bit of a J here. And now when I'm at this 2 position here, all I'm thinking about are my index and middle finger pushing through the middle of the basketball, okay? These 2 fingers right here, when I'm at my 2 position, if I remove my guide hand, that ball should be nice and balanced. And these 2 fingers here are what are doing the majority of the work in terms of how I'm pushing through the ball. I had so many different coaches over the years where they would tell me, they would say, hey, when you're shooting, can you feel it come off your index, or can you feel it come off your middle? And I never could. And I shot thousands of shots, thousands of shots. But if I focus on these 2 fingers being closer together here, right? When I'm pushing everything through, the rotation I get and the feel I get as I push through are night and day different. So don't overextend that hand, right? When you're here in this 2 position, a lot of talk about gap or no gap. There will be, no matter what, a little bit of one. That's the way our hand is constructed. It's not going to be up like this, right? Just like it's not going to be, where our fingers aren't going to be off the ball. Coverage of the ball, little gap. I wouldn't even focus on the gap as much as just let that ball relax in your hands. You still have control of it with your finger pads, but you're still trying as much coverage of the shooting hand as possible.
Really good example of using the elbow with a lower release. So a lot of times when a player gets to this point here with a lower release, when they get to right here, so you can see that the elbow is actually still pointed down a little bit in this place. Players most often with that lower release, or the most common error I see is from that lower release point here, they like to pass through on the finish upward. And so we don't get the use of the elbow that we necessarily want. Easier to do when that elbow's up just a little bit higher, and then to really isolate and stabilize that elbow. But Tyrese Maxey showing here that once this angle is created, here, he's going to do a phenomenal job of still kind of stabilizing that elbow even with the lower release to the rim. So we'll show it here. And again, from this position, now when he comes undone out of that angle established at his 2 position or set point, watch how stable that elbow remains. And so tons of control, tons of power there, and a way that you can get away with it with a lower release point.
Have you ever wondered why quarterbacks are typically really good jump shooters? When a quarterback throws, they use their elbows like this, which is really similar to when we shoot, we use our elbow like this. So similar to the post that I talked about beforehand of stabilizing the elbow, every time a quarterback does this, they're building an association that when they come back to shoot a basketball, this becomes quite familiar. So when you hear a quarterback say something like this,
Talk me through your form. Just talk me through what you're thinking right now.
Put it in the basket.
it's an indication of just how strong our associations can help shape the learning of another skill. I make shooting simple. Follow me. This won't hurt your shot. This will help your shot. Here's why. I see a lot of players establish a set point and pass through the elbow versus establishing a set point and using the elbow. Passing through the elbow would look like this. Using the elbow looks like this. Laying on our back can help build an association with how to use the elbow for anybody that doesn't have a background in throwing sports. Because the ball doesn't just go out and it doesn't just go up. The ball goes up and out. I make shooting simple. Follow me.